How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
I think I've still got a bit of a cough after last week's episode. What about you guys?
Oh, I've been stuck in the hype of all these other books and realized that we didn't finish talking about what's really important.
Yeah. But wait,
Life.
there's more.
Mhm.
Exactly. You might be getting distracted by luminous what's and shiny elves, or maybe some sort of sentient scintillations. But you know what? We don't have to get distracted. We can stay down to the sickness here because we were really going well into Nurgle last week. We got some great content out there on things you can do, why it's so exciting. And there's more, like an ever-flowing pustule river. There is more.
And we know that there are leaks out for the books, but I think everybody and their significant other or their mother or their brother from another mother could be talking
Their
about
sister from another mister even.
Yeah, are going to be talking about that. And here's the thing: the book's not out for everybody. Maybe not everybody can look at it. And
exactly.
I think when it comes down to it, I think we were right again. Is this the third right in a row? We knew that it was going to be overshadowed by these two other armies. That everybody else is going to be like, ooh,
It's the Nurgle way for one, and I think we're having a pretty hot streak right now. And you know what? We dare to be different here. We'll get to those books in their due course, but slow and plodding is the way. And why focus on the leak of a book? We can fixate more on a book that leaks, much like
that was a good one. Also,
the womp is stronger than this one.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, a little.
So last episode we talked about Nurgle units that stood out to us, and just did kind of like a basic overview of the rules, right?
Yep.
And we picked out some interesting lists. I think some people may have had different ideas than what we had, for sure. I know that the lists that I were looking at were very much a style of board control that may not be fun for everyone.
Yep. So I mean, hey, I like 80 Pestigore in a dream. All right, that's all I'm saying. We're gonna bring. I can't say Bestigore anymore because they don't exist. But god damn it, paint them with some zits, and all of a sudden they're back on the table.
Exactly.
It was the worst Agore. So I think I want to go into some of these other units that we didn't talk about and think about, like, what are their roles? What can we do with these in the context of what we looked at last time, right? How, while everybody else is going nuts on the new shiny new things, right? How can we be solid instead of running into a new pile of gray?
It's very fair. And it's funny because they're not even like that old, the things that they're talking about. I mean, some of the things or some of the entries from the book, which would be fun and have roles we're going to talk about, like they're the glistening, almost new things. Literally were new a month ago. People were salivating on when they saw the previews of the Jade Abbey box. So I think that's a good way to go. I mean, so maybe further ado, Matt, let's jump into some of these. Where should we start? Should we start with maybe Festus, the Leech Lord? I don't think we talked about him last week.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Festus.
We didn't? Oh my god.
No, we skipped right over him. New model, new year.
Gorgeous new model.
And
very interesting mounts for sure.
I gotta say, some of the painters that I've seen have really done the Leech to justice. This whole the leech is dry makes no sense to me. It's gotta have the shine. It's gotta be hard to photograph.
That's it. I mean, Nurgle's got it. It's
make it mushy.
Yes,
it's the grossest thing and possibly the hardest thing to actually affix a hound to. But they found a way to do it. I just love the way in the model, his actual stomach has a giant leech sticking out of it. The way it is attached to him is clearly like a leech, so that's just
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I have the original like Festus Leech Lord model I picked up a while ago, and then I actually got a second copy of it, which came in like some Nurgle lot I bought a long time ago to get some Nurglings for my Slaves to Darkness lists. And so
they make great Rotbringer sorcerers, actually, which we should for sure go over because they're going to be great against Tzeentch and most likely Lumineth as well.
I will say that the book here, and possibly foreshadow the other books, what I've heard, those will be later episodes. There's a new theme of like, I don't know, like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, like opening from a drab gray London of other books where you have a certain toolkit and you really have to like earn the things you get. You have one or two cool tricks maybe buried in there with much effort. Mm-hmm. And it's just a smorgasbord of like Technicolor whimsy and like this crap's everywhere. But anyway, we'll get to that. Festus. So what do we get? What are we dealing with here? All right, so now he's riding a slug, the Demon Prince. 5-inch move, 14 health, 4-up save with a 5-up ward and control 5. Already like a pretty solid little piece. And he's got some cool stuff going on for him. And what I like about this dude is he's not a pure combat character, but doesn't totally fall down in combat. Like he has a couple attacks with the Gnarled Plague Staff, the kind of the wizard thing, right? A rend 1 D3 damage.
Yeah, but 3 attacks.
3 attacks.
And crit auto wound. So like he's a little bit better in combat marginally than most sorcerers that we see. But he is a mounted lord, essentially, right? Yeah. He is a monster. So I would expect him to have a little bit more.
That's true. But his leech is surprisingly good at fighting for what you'd think he would be able to do when you look at it. I mean, it's 4 attacks, but 4 up to a monster profile, rend 2, damage 3, but crit mortal on those. So that can spike into all sorts of stuff. You got to respect it a little bit.
And pretty much a spider.
Really, spider, yeah. But unlike the spiders, has a lot of fun abilities which do things.
Go on.
Hey, I waxed poetic on my spiders, and you can do a lot with them.
I love the spiders. I'm there for the big egg sack in the sky, but it's like, that's what I'm talking about, Matt. This is the land of plenty, right? You or your spiders are there with my dwarves in like, dismal gray London, and here we are in the Technicolor.
4 units versus an entire book, essentially.
All right, so what are we rolling with? A couple things. One, he has a special spell, as he always has, the Leech Lord's Curse. 18-inch casting roll, you need a 6, and you can give a thing a leech point. And whenever that thing uses a core ability or command, after you've done that, they have to roll dice. And a 3-up, take a mortal wound, and actually heal the Leech Lord. So I guess you can proc, this on enemy unit, and like if it's going to do any activities, heal up, which is kind of a fun way to keep them topped off. In of itself, not the craziest strong thing, but
I kind of like it. Because again, Nurgle, this new book fixed a major problem that a lot of the older iterations of Nurgle had, which was like these shorter range spells. This at 18 means that you can put this far up in advance. Going back to our our Rotbringers, our Rockbringer analogy, or I guess army build. So essentially, you're throwing them at Rotbringers. You now have an extra, like, hey, you really don't want to try and waste using a CP here, right? If they fail, you've got an insurance, which keeps your Rotbringers in the fight. Or you can actually, if Festus is kind of hanging out on his own, maybe lightly supported, you can hit somebody before they charge, right? So they can either, take a save off some shooting that you have from another unit, from an all-out defense. There's your 3 and up. There's your heal. It basically, for me, it's like, okay, well, I've got 2 phases of shooting that I can use to heal back 1 wound off a 4+ save, right? And then if there's a counter charge, if there's anything like that where he's coming in, it's a fun utility. And the fact that he's a wizard too means that, why not? Just put a token down.
He's a great wizard too, if you don't want to deal with like a big caster. I don't know if there's another wizard too in the book, but this is a nice little spot. And looking at them,
Are the ghouls not wizard too?
The ghoul.
The ghoul, the great and clean ones. What are they? Are they?
I think they're wizard 1. Aren't
yeah,
they?
they're wizard 2s.
They're wizard 2s, but they're still bigger investment wizard 2s probably.
They are.
So
you have your wizard 1 with the Poxbringer, and then there is Belga, I think. Well, wizard 1 from Glocken, yeah, and then I think Belga is wizard. She is she's something else actually.
She's a priest, actually.
She's a priest, yeah.
Which is a weird thing because she looks like a shaman. But, but what's fun about the Leech Lord? We really didn't get to his special thing, his shtick, right? Mm-hmm. Is he has like a very leechy ability where when you're in combat, if you did not charge, you could basically pick an enemy unit and like do his little mini game roll off thing with his vile poisons because he's always been like a doctor alchemist. Mm-hmm. And you each roll off and you add your control characteristic. And you roll higher, you apply an effect where basically if it's a non-hero or monster thing, you can just kill a model from the unit if you win the roll off. Yep. But if you are in fact against a big hero or monster, you do mortal wounds equal to the difference in the damage. And there's a possibly hard to build up a cool if you get the payoff thing he has called Annelid Engorgement at the end of any turn. Where if he's been in combat with an enemy unit and something has died, he gets D3 leech points for the battle. And of course, you get them from his spell too. And he holds on to those. And he gets a control score point for each of those. So he starts at 5. Okay. Pretty easily beat 8, 9, or 10. And then you're in a situation where if you're fighting a hero, like a foot hero at 2, you're just going to do 6 or 8 mortal wounds to it probably with any kind of roll. Well, and even like a monster, you start doing some differences if you have a delta there.
Well, and here's the fun thing too. If you've got an extra CP and you want to do leech in your opponent's hero phase, you've got 2 heals from that, potential 2 mortal wounds, right? Because it's until the start of your next turn. And then you've got the added leech points from this. You could actually be stacking some heals on him very deceptively.
Oh yeah.
Especially if he's going after lighter units. Screens or somebody in the backfield, late turn, or late game, he wants to just move up the field. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
It's very fun. I mean, he only has movement 5, right? So, I mean, this dream might be hard to pull up, but I definitely would love this arc with him in a game where he does do the early mid-game sideboard skirmish thing, takes out something light-ish or holds on to something light-ish and then gets himself up to an 8 or a 9 control score. Then his final punch is to come in and punch above his weight against some big monster or big monster character and force the roll off where it's okay, well, you have the my base is 9 and your base is 5. Oh, I got a 5, you got a 3. This was the difference, you're dead. And this is a very fun thing. I just don't think it's going to be particularly easy to pull off, both because he has a movement 5 and because he has to not have charged to do the vile poison, debilitating toxin. So you can't just swoop in and do it. They have to be around you for a little bit, you know, or charge you for that.
Which you kind of expect, right, at his speed. So
Not bad though. Not bad. He can still be slinging all the Nurgle spells there and make himself a target from that. So. A very cool war scroll.
I mean, he can also go in Gardeners of Nurgle, so he could get. I think there's a run and charge in there. We'll get to there in a little bit.
Yeah,
it may just be in a different unit. But yeah, he's interesting. He does feel like he's self-contained, right? He's not a super buff character. I mean, he can do buff spells if you really want. But 14 wounds and a 4-up save. And I'm pretty sure he's actually fairly decent in points, right? He's not too expensive for what he does and what he is. So I like it. I like him a lot. Yeah. I don't know if he makes most of my lists at the moment, purely because I don't have the model yet.
That'd do it.
That's the most important reason in some ways, but I mean, He's fun and he's cool, but I agree with you. He's not the one that says, "Oh, I need to build all of my ideas around him." Like he's just a good in a lot of weird little ways unit.
Yeah, and at 320 points, like I don't think he's a bad take. I think he's a good, solid, dependable wizard with a potential, 3-and-up save when you need it. But yeah, I like him.
So who's next on our list? Did we do Gelgus Pust last week, or is he new?
We didn't even do Blobe.
Yeah, we didn't do Blobe, Rotspawn. We didn't. No, we didn't.
Or the Magath Lords. Yeah,
no.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, we didn't touch the new War Scrolls from the Jade Abbey either.
And we can hop through those, but
give the people what they want. That's right.
Yeah, with the big guys, I mean, they're interesting. They're again like they have their own personality. Like Blobe is the shooty one, if I remember correct. Yep, Blobe is the shooty guy who's also a wizard. Which means he's more of like he's more of a support character, right?
Okay.
And he's got shoot and combat, which is really good.
Oh, it is, yeah.
7 attacks, 2s and 4s, run 1 damage T3, which that's super good. I'd take it. Especially in an army that doesn't normally have any shooting. That being said, like he's not gonna like punch anybody off their mount. But if you again put him in my favorite battalion of Nurgle's Menagerie, companion weapons used by friendly Magakin of Nurgle, if crit 2 hits, you can suddenly turn him into a crazy shooting companion weapon.
Well, really, all of these guys work really well because, of course, the Magath Lords were the original great kit that came out for Nurgle around the end times for original Warhammer Fantasy. Yeah. And, they really, I remember like early edition games of Age of Sigmar where I was like, okay, these guys are like the fighters outside of like a big guy. Because, those Magath Lord like mounts do hit pretty hard. They still do, right? I mean, 5 attacks, 4s, 2s, 2 rend, 3 damage, really respectable profile. And they're all companions out of crit 2 hits. Well, all of a sudden you're gonna
it's enough dice to convert a few.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I really like this guy is the reason I really like all 3 of these is because each one of them, if you know your local meta, they have a way to like shut it down. Like this guy's like, yes, he's decent in combat. He's not as much of a beat stick when you compare him to, Orgots, right? But like his spell essentially just turns off companion weapon abilities. So just think about what you can do with that. If you're going up against, I don't know, a ton of, let's say, Beastclaw Raiders, which may be coming out soon. Or if you're going up against chariots from the new Zeech book, there's a ton of different applications for it. And even just having it.
You said anti-monster?
No, it's companion.
Oh,
so it's got a lot of different uses. That could be the 1/5/3 that somebody rolled. That normally kills off the last guy, or the crazy one, right? If you're dealing with undead dragons, you ain't dealing with them anymore, are you? It's super strong. If you know your meta and you know
the Cavalists, even with Deepkin, if you hate eels.
Griff Chargers are scary. Dragons are suddenly non-existent, right? This has great potential, and it's one unit, wholly within 12. So generally, like, there's a good bet that you're going to take the charge, or you can say, hey, all of those attacks you were going to make, let's go ahead and say no. Right. And on a 6, fairly easy to get. And also Magma Droths. Having trouble with Magma Droths? Sorry.
What I love about that spell, and I actually have this guy in my basement, which sounds like a serial killer, but is more of a collector's. Also, I guess collection is a serial killer thing. But anyway, I digress.
It's okay, YouTube. Look at my teeth while he says that. None of us are serial killers. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Jack.
All right. I'm gonna dig myself out of that hole.
Too close to work for me, man.
All right. what I was going to say, or we got this dark digression, is that the best thing about that spell, what I think just makes it so crazy, right? And we really can overshadow is that most abilities like this are pick an enemy. Oh, this guy's nearby me. I tag you. Your special weapon's not going to work.
Yeah.
You can just make a super anvil. Hey, plague bear unit, whatever's in the way of like the thing what needs those those special weapon abilities. Done.
Yeah.
All the extra rend, of course, but this is just going to be like the antidote to massive amounts of crit mortals or crit auto wounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to watch someone who's not me feel real bad when their chosen unit is looking at something like that, and all of a sudden you can't get crit mortals.
Yeah.
I love it because it doesn't say you can't cast it on yourself. So he can effectively hold down a side of the board if he needs for a turn too. 100%. Right? Like 100%. Just throw him on this objective, let everybody else run around, cast that on himself. Good luck, dragon that was going good luck, other guys that were going to come and get me. And then
it's a fun thing.
The lovely part outside of that is it also pairs with his rampage, right? Which is like pick an enemy monster in combat, and on a 3+, subtract 1 from attacks characteristics of the melee weapons. So not only are you saying, no weapon abilities for companion attacks, but you're also subtracting from the guy who's riding on top.
It's true, and it is a 3-up, but I mean, if it's a 3-up and someone's make a choice, they have to assume it's going to go off, right? Otherwise, they're just playing kind of like high roll Yahtzee to themselves. Yep. And what's really neat about it is, while it is only a 4-up, 6-up he has, it's a Rotbringer, and this is a book about trees, and all you got to do is be reasonably close to a mobile tree, which could kind of be almost anywhere, and use a 5-up. So he's most likely to be a 4 or 5-up.
Huh. And
which means,
And and the fact that he's 8-inch movement too makes him actually really interesting and flyless, which we didn't really go over the fly stuff. I'd love to go over that after these other two, because these guys actually provide great support or second wave punches. Or in the case of the next guy, Orgots, Damon Spew. I'm going to always say Damons. He can lead the pack because he's got that 8-inch move, 14 health, 5 control, but he's got a 3-and-up save, meaning you can get him down to a 2. So your Ren 2 is going to have a hard time getting through him, right? And his attacks are nothing to bat an eyelash at. He's still got a shooting attack, 7 inches. But it's only one shot, 3s and 3s, and D6 damage, which is great for clearing chaff, right? But his combat attacks can get a little ridiculous because if you're using the same battalion that I pointed out and love, not only are you getting 7 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 2, which is good for, again, clearing the chaff. But the companion weapons will crit on 6s, right? For 5 attacks, going at it, that's possibly another attack, or you could roll a hot. 4s to hit, 2s to wound, Ren 2 damage 3. That is a lot of potential attacks coming out of it.
So like all the Magoth lords, right? They have a spicy little thing, which is like their signature. And I just, again, like this one really does it for me because I feel like it's such a good synergy ability where it feels like you're building on stuff, like to work with the rest of your army, not just have your guy do his own thing. Like he's a beatstick for sure, but he has the grasping tongue of the Magoth lore is another one of those 3-up in the combat phase abilities. You pick the thing you're fighting, or at least one unit, and on that 3-up, you add 1 to rolls for combat attacks made by friendly Magoth of Nurgle units target enemy the rest of the turn. So it's all of them, including himself. Which means those rod axes are going to 3s and 2s, but if you have like some kind of combo charge or something else, I mean, they will also benefit, which seems pretty fun.
And at first, I always kind of like shirk at the, why couldn't you just give me +1 to hit? And I'm like, okay, I can always get that using the CP, right? But like being
most armies have a spell or something. It's common. +1 to wound.
It makes every elf cry. all elf crides.
Yeah.
All the elves.
Yeah, I loved.
Sorry, man.
I was also thinking like the 3 damage. Those are turtle numbers. What are we doing here? And then I'm thinking, oh well, when I play a Zinch I can give out -1 to wound now. Oh no, it doesn't matter because this dude exists.
Yep, and he's 270 points.
That's
he's
great.
Cheap. He's super cheap for 8-inch movement in this army. He's very fast.
Yeah,
he's got that good old dragon ogre movement range, which I love.
Does.
Yep. No, which is the majority of the army that flies, right?
8 inches is more than enough to really do what you need most of the time. Not super slow Nurgle anymore. I mean, true.
And it'll catch people off guard, especially when you have to run to an objective, right? Force a 6, boom. All of a sudden, that's 14 inches of movement. Where did that come from?
Don't forget about the other guy.
He's good. I do like that he's got the magma droth, like 1 to or what is it? Unmodified save roll of 1 just throws mortals on him, which is great.
Spicy, yeah. Kill something which is on its death's door and hit you hard enough. That's real fun. Also, just great if you are fighting like a horde of witch elves or something. Just take them down with you as they go.
Yeah.
Even if he's about to die, I just love that. And then, of course, we got Morbidex, the third one. And I always thought, like, he was fun, but probably, like, the least common of the Magaflords. Possibly will remain true, but I think he's still intriguing, right? I mean, he had the same sort of profile. The tongue attacks are probably the worst of the 3 because they're just 7 inches, 3 attacks, so 3 up, run 1 damage.
Okay.
And he's kind of like a middle of the road profile, right? He's got the Flesh Reaper Scythe, so he has like 5 attacks to 3s and 3s, run 1, 2 damage. And he has the same profile on the Magath beastie he rides. But what's neat about him is he's all about messing with you and going heavy theme into Nurglings. And there's actually, I think, some play here because he's got 2 things going for him. One, like an annoying Nurgling, he's a huge regenerator, so he just heals X where it's half the damage he's taken every end of any turn, which means if you don't kill him, he will just like always top up in a huge degree.
Yeah.
Take 10, heal back 5, find another way to get some points back on him. He's looking good.
Yep.
But he also has the weird ability to make all the Nurglings within 12 of him ignore a point of damage each phase, and also not be beasts, which means they can, have a bit more of a control score and do some other stuff.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't enough, he's got almost murder lust for Nurglings, which is like so funny. So like if you're within 12 of them in your combat phase, you can pick 2 friendly units and then a 2 up of these Nurglings, basically move them in the combat phase a number of inches equal to the roll, but kind of end the move in combat, or if they are in combat, make a pile-in move. But it's equal to the roll. So if you're just within 12 and you roll like 5, Nurglings can move 5 inches. That means they can block something or move on to an objective or go somewhere crazy. The people really weren't expecting, because that 12 inches away from him could be now 17 inches away somewhere convenient. Or if they are in combat already, just tagging one thing, they can use that pile-in move to stop something from moving somewhere it wants to. You can do some creative stuff.
And generally, I would expect it to, be a 3 or a 4-inch move, but that's more than enough to get like run a unit of Nurglings up from sitting right next to him, or one that came out of a tree that is nearby, and suddenly now you have a little bit of support on an objective, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think he's good. He's definitely one of the weirder ones because he's kind of all over the place. Like he's much harder to kill over the long run, depending on the army that you're facing. But also he's kind of like, okay, I see this in the list. I know what he's probably going to try and do. Right? Yeah. It's a little bit more predictable.
There's got to be like a fun list in there, Matt, where someone just makes like an oddballs of Maggot High School kind of thing, where you just pick like the leftovers from the book and still make it work.
Oh yeah, he's definitely in there. Or, if you have 2 Magaflords, he's a great option. If you want to have 2, he's suddenly making one of the cheaper units that comes back Mud punch higher above its weight from an objective perspective, right?
So I like game about standing on circles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the special thing with
moving to the
circles. Yeah. Their whole thing is if they've died, they just come back near a tree.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk flies, Matt. We can't keep you from your fly guys for too long.
Let's do it.
Jump on in, man. Jump into it. Yeah.
So I do think, like, every single time a book comes out since the fly models have existed, there is a kind of what that happens when you read the rules, because the Lord of Afflictions absolutely has to work with the other fly guys, and they have to be in a list. So you know that you are going to skew your list to a certain degree for it to work. And they're pretty good. 8-inch move. Again, all the fast stuff moves 8 inches here, meaning you have a very dependable army, in that you know what you're going to have to do. It's less muscle memory to train yourself on. But the opposite side of that is, right, okay, I know everybody can only move 8 inches if I'm going up against a fast army in Nurgle, right? So people can kind of figure out what you're going to do and maybe plan for it, because 8 inches, not 12, not 14, there is going to be a certain dependability to your movement that your opponent could probably catch. But they do have a 3 and up save and a 2 control. Good, survivable, right? Their weapons are interesting, and this is where they always kind of get strange to me. So the Fester Spike, which is the dude on top's weapon, it's charge +1 damage, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 2. So on the charge, you can get 4 attacks, very dependable 3 damage, right? But at a Ren 1. That's a little iffy if you're going to Stormcast or the aforementioned from our other episode, Slaves to Darkness, right? Luckily, we do have an artifact that can remove a pip, right, of armor. So you can actually make them a little bit more scary. Let me just go back and make sure I'm saying this correctly. If you're going to hero hunt with the Rustfang, which is what this guy can kind of do, you can, in any combat phase, just strip them from a save roll. So that means that, he's now Ren 2, damage 3, 4 attacks, very dependable. On the charge into a hero. That's enough to kill a lot of foot heroes, which I think this guy is kind of geared to do. And then the rot flies and mouth parts are companions with 6 attacks, 4s and 3s, no random 1 damage. So it feels underwhelming when you first look at it. But for a Nurgle army, very fast. He does have, once per turn, pick up 3 enemy units in combat and roll D3 for each independent target, so it's not a flat roll. You can fail this multiple times, or you can pass it more than the first time. And on a 2+, inflict that amount of mortal wounds, right? So he's got some splash damage, literally. And then his other ability is really interesting. If this unit charged this turn, pick this unit and up to 2 friendly Pasquale Blight Lord units wholly within 12 to be the targets. And you can add 1 to the rend characteristics of the rot flies, meaning you want them on the charge. Now your companion weapons all suddenly have a rend. Sounds a little bit scarier. They're going to be taking out a decent amount of duders, especially chaff, which I think is what they're really meant to be, but I think they can punch above their weight.
It's a little funny with the companion weapons with the flies. Like, I look at their profile a couple of times, and my initial instinct is that it's not good, but has high volume. But I think like it creeps up towards good, like with this ability working, especially when you have a couple of them, right? Because there's a big difference between 6 attacks of 4 and 3, which do no random 1 damage, and 1 rend in most of the books. And there's a huge difference when those things are hitting with crit 2. with 6 attacks.
And then when you think about like cavalry doesn't generally have rend. This guy gives them rend, which is just in and of itself pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
Now the great thing about him is the Puscoil Blight Lords that have to accompany him if you want to get the most out of the points. They actually have a charge 2 damage. So 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1, which can go up to another point of damage, right? Mm-hmm. If you're hunting a hero and he's got a -1 save, you now essentially have rend 2 on all of these guys.
Or rend 3 if you look at their ability mat, right? Because their version of it is if you're fighting on an objective, they get rend 2. Or I should say an objective,
it would be rend 2 for the mouth parts, for the companion weapons, right?
Nope, it's a rend 2 on the
Fly Riders Arsenal. That's right.
So they actually get it better that way. So
they do help for taking objectives. Then they have the +1 for the mouth parts and sting from your other dude. They're deceptive. They're really, really deceptive. And I think like Lord of Afflictions plus a full block of reinforced Puscoil Blight Lords is spendy, but at 8 health base for a single Puscoil Blight Lord and a tree sitting around, a 4+5+ is nothing to sneeze at, right?
Boom, boom. I mean, they still got to get there, though, right? Isn't that kind of their main problem? Because I don't, if I'm not misremembering, they don't have like a special fly delivery. It's not
not anymore. They used to in some older editions, and it is kind of sad to see that go. But at 8-inch movement, like they're faster than you'll realize. As somebody who played a lot of 8-inch movement armies.
It's true, and just fly near a tree, and there again 4-up, 5-ups for the Puscoil Blight Lords, or 3-up, 5-ups for the Lord. And even though they're targetable, like you're okay. I mean, they have 8 health with each of the Puscoil Blight Lords. It's pretty strong.
I could see a world where if Gut Rot Spume can fit into one of your regiments, because I don't know, maybe you took like a grid and clean one or something, and for some reason he's allowed in there as well. I don't know the chart. I haven't looked with Gut Rot, but he used to be a nice delivery method for that. For the flies, I haven't gotten into that yet because I think that's like a one and done. People will see it coming. I honestly think as an 8-inch move flying model, we have the same with spiders, right?
Really does matter.
It really, really does matter. And they have a 2-inch coherency, meaning that you can actually do some good finagling to get them where you need to be.
And big hops, you can get one guy in the one base and be in cohesion some crazy distances, like hit the thing you want to hit.
Yep. And the great thing is, they're not going to be 6 models. So you can stretch them out in a line if you really need to and bank on a longer charge. I think they work really, really well with the unit of Slaven Knights in tow. And the reason I think they work really well is because I think they can actually put out more damage than the Slaven Knights ever could when you get that combination. And it becomes this giant, just hard to block, hard to deal with thing that's going to make you diseased, right? And take out heroes, take out anything on objectives. They become this really, really strong block of, well, as long as I can roll 3s, I think they're really good and a little bit underrated. I haven't seen them on the table for a long time, but they are specifically what I'm building my lists around.
I'm excited to see some combinations there. I mean, and what is it? So it's three models for Slaven Knights and 2 for Puscoil Blight Lords. Your typical unit, you can reinforce with a 4. So it's like 2 units. So it's going to be 12 wounds of Slaven Knights, or it's going to be 16 wounds of Puscoil Blight Lords before you even reinforce.
Yep.
And I think you're right. I mean, the abilities in the Slaven Knights are very cool, with like the always strikes last and all that. But if you are dealing with raw damage output, you can't really forget that the Slaven Knights only have 2 base attacks. Even with a charge, it's pretty underwhelming.
And again, the companion crits work very well with them, just to add the extra wounds. But the Slaven Knights are really only here to make sure that all of the all the flies can get their hits in, right?
Mm-hmm.
The extra rend on them is kind of matched or, even undermined by the amount of rend that you can actually get on the Puscoil Blight Lords and the Lord of Afflictions working in concert. The other thing that I like in focusing more on a fly list is the plague drones, which we didn't really speak about. Plague drones themselves don't seem that interesting. There are a couple of random ways to buff them, but the one thing that they do that this army really, really needs, specifically if you're going to build a fly build, right, is the ability to retreat and still charge. So what you can do with them, and the way I've been thinking about it, let me just pull up the scroll because there's so many units now.
Looking at it right now.
Units.
Yeah.
The one thing that Nurgle can do, and these guys could probably do very well, is disease, move on, disease, move on, disease, move on, right? Now, the models themselves are actually just as survivable with 5-up shrug, like all the demons, and a 5-up save. They also have control 2, which is really good, a move of 8, and a health of 5. So not as 100% survivable as the other ones, but they're 150 points. The other guys are 200 points base for 2 models, right?
And I'll even give them a little extra credit, Matt. In my opinion, I think that the plague drones build, if you're going plague drone list or fly list, right, is it spices up your variety, right? You've had the rend and the extra damage of the charge from the Lord and from the dudes on the flies, but these guys. Sheer rend, they give you some crit mortals. Not a lot of crit mortal, but it's 2 attacks per plague sword guy, and that can get through some stuff that it might otherwise, really just bounce off. The other guys will bounce off, and you still have those rot fly mouth parts getting the same bonus from the Lord, right? So I think it's the same situation. Unless I'm misremembering, they're going to go rend 1. So all that together makes it real fun to have them together.
So with the Rotfly mouthparts and sting, that's only for the Puscoil Blight Lords, which it's annoying that they have almost the same name, but it is only, that's why the flies work so well as a bunch, right? Or I guess the Rotbringers work so well as just a bunched thing.
You're absolutely right. It's only Puscoil Blight Lords. That's a bummer. I was thinking we have that too.
I mean, critting into more attacks again because companion. You can see how this list has just been what I wanted to play, right? They do it very well. The retreat and charge is super big too because you can save them from a combat they don't want to be in early. Get somebody diseased, and then on the next turn, if they're not able to get in combat with somebody else, right, they do have a musician and standard bearer. So at a health 5, you can slowly bring them back to life. There are other, healing spells that you could use ahead of time that would bring you up to a full 5, and then you just sit there and go, okay, if this is the unit that I have to waste dice on, I'm just going to keep on wasting dice to keep it going. But 6 attacks is great for a random little unit at 150, and it's 3. So
150 is a nice prize.
You are getting 15 wounds. They're great little guys. I think they're deceptively fast because you can use that pile in and then leave on the next turn. Especially if you double, that's 8. A charge of up to 12, could be a 3, could be 12. Then you got your pile in. Just keep in mind that you're moving forward. Then you've got a power through if you want, or you can retreat and power through in another unit. And then you have all of this forward movement. Noting that power through won't get you diseased, right? It has to stay, I believe it's at the end of the turn. is when they get diseased.
But it is that extra critical day 3. And to be fair, you might have already diseased everything at that point. So it's like, all right, I'm just going to proc my damage. It's going to be the thing that finishes it off. Mm-hmm. I'm there for that. And don't forget that if you do have a great unclean one and you're doing some demon stuff, those little 3 blocks of flies with all the annoying damage zones that have you kill them, he can pop up 2 flies to come back for like a point anywhere near one of the gnarl mods. And because of the movement they have the ability to get right back in or go somewhere you want, even if it's like, 10 inches away or something. So that's nothing to shake a fly part at.
Yeah. And
I'm pro Boscus with these ones.
And these guys are a list. They're essentially a list that I have. I just kind of walked you through everything. We walked through the Great Unclean one earlier, but one of the lists that I'm actively getting ready to be on the field soon is essentially this. It's a Lord of Afflictions with Corpulent Avalanche and Rustfang. I think that actually Corpulent Avalanche has changed. The points have remained the same. But let me just double check. Yes, it was the change to that was Overpowering Stench. And Restfang, because obviously we want the -1. The then comes a unit of reinforced Puskoa Blight Lords. And this is the General's Regiment, or not the General's Regiment. Another, just regular unit of Puskoa Blight Lords, a unit of Slavic Knights to follow them up, a Great Unclean one, and 4 units of just regular Plague Drones. So now you have board control, you have speed through everything, and like I was saying in the last episode, if somebody's going to charge a Great Unclean one, they need to mean it, right? Are they going to be able to do a board control check on everything flying around, causing mortal wounds, getting diseased, right? Enough to cause a check on a Great Unclean one. Now, the other side of that, or the addition to that, is Primal Energy. So if need be, what's the first thing I do on the, second turn after I've gotten all the spells off where I need them? Throw out Emerald Life Swarm and just let it hang out with the Great Unclean one. Now I've got this guy who's going to sit in the backfield, discourage anybody coming at him. Come and get me. I'm just going to heal, right? And slowly put out Ravenex, Gnashing Jaws, and possibly if I went to the Burning It, right? So from there I can, because it's a Wizard 2, I can safely sit in the back for at least turn 1 and turn 2, not worry about mini dispels, depending on, the map and positioning. Get these spells out to force people to waste their own, as well as keeping, board control, because all of them have movement. So no deep striking back behind my lines, right? So I've got a good spread on a decent area of the board, specifically on the objective, where Great Unclean One's going to hang out, do his stuff, and everybody else is going to go forth and do their stuff. And this one actually supports that scouting forth and wrathful cycles that I love as well. Because of the slow speed, one would expect for turn 1 and turn 2, most likely you're going to get outscored on points, because a 12-inch move will get you to objectives fairly easy. 8-inch move, you're going to be forcing yourself maybe a little bit too far, because you're going to have a run to get you on those objectives, which plays right into the hand. I just want to let people get on those objectives and then charge them, take it from them, get the extra rend on the flies, and do all the fun stuff. So there's one list. There's one iteration of a totally different idea of this book. And I think the flies have a lot of fun in them.
Yeah, no, there's just so many lists in this book that can work.
I'm there with that.
At the same time, not even like, oh, we got to wait for points to drop. Oh, we got to go to this, but multiple builds at work, which just makes me happy.
Yeah, and I think it'll shut down Shelly.
I want to make the most boring list. I have an idea for one, which I don't think is that novel, but it just would be so satisfying to see on a table. Okay. I'm gonna math it out, and we're gonna see how it looks. But the basic concept is flood the board with plague bearers with a couple auxiliaries of the flies. And really, it's really min-maxing on that. The idea of the great and clean one can bring it back. And you just hit the plagues and you sit on all the objectives and you make yourself basically unshiftable because you're too many places at once. And you use Gutrot Spume to bring 2 or 3 units of them into an inconvenient place they'd never be able to get to the backfield. And then you're just all over the place.
Can Gutrot bring in demons though? That's the big question.
As long as they fit in his thing, yeah, we'll find out.
Is it his regiment that he brings, or
it is the regiment? Yep.
It depends if there's a limitation there. If there is, then I guess my dream falls apart. But
I do have an alternate answer for that dream, and one of the only armies of renown that I've actually kind of truly been like, ooh, I'm fixated on this. Okay. And my goodness, I am so sorry, Spearhead, but you always confuse me for the point in the book.
It really does.
I never know where I'm at. So the army of renown that I'm thinking of is, of course, my boy, Slinux.
Yep. Grow those trees.
You'd have to bring him into the list in order to do this, but I think this one has a lot of fun potential, as well as that kind of plague bearer spam board control. So your roster options are Horty must be included because it's Horty and he's the bestest and the strongest. Any Maggot kin of Nurgle demon units, right? So anything like that. And no regiments of renown because army of renown. You know that. Yeah. So battle traits are really fun. Once per turn, hero phase, you set up a feculent Gnarlmaw on the battlefield more than 3 inches from all the stuff.
Okay.
Once per turn army or movement phase, pick a friendly feculent Gnarlmaw to be the target, remove it from the battlefield and set it up within 3 inches of a friendly gardeners of Nurgle hero, more than 3 inches from all the fun stuff, right? Once per battle army, your movement phase again, the friendly Horty can use his cultivating the Garden of Nurgle ability, even if there's more than one or more friendly feculent Gnarlmaws. So he can put another tree down. And he can put another tree down. And he can put another tree down. If I'm reading this correctly, which we all know I have a hard time reading. So let's go ahead and just make sure while I've got you guys wrapped with attention here.
Oh, please.
Oh, my goodness. So wrapped.
While you're doing that, Jack, did you find the answer about Gutrot Spume?
I did. He can only bring mortals. So.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the problem with him, but also like why I could see him going in a fly list if he can fit the flies in his regiment. What was it? Cultivating the Garden of Nurgle. There's no more than one friendly feculent Gnarlmaw on the battlefield. You can set one up wholly within 12, right? So what that means is there's no limit to the amount of Gnarlmaws that you can put on the field. So you can literally just spread these all over. You can make a happy little table full of trees. You can be the best gardener ever, right? So that's cool, right? He can move them around. You can move them around. So that's 2 ways to move them. So you can move trees from both my boy Horty or another Nurgle hero. 2 ways to move, multiple trees, 1 tree a turn, essentially. So that's a potential 7 trees, right? Remember that you can bring back stuff using a great and clean one, which is allowed in this list. So late game, you can capture objectives fairly easily using your large plague bearer block. Okay. But we're not done yet. Putrescent sap is the fun 2+, inflict an amount of mortal damage on a target equal to the roll from the feculent gnarlmaws if you're within 3. It's a little bit of mortal wound spam, but then you have to make it so they have to get next to them, right? Because you can't set the trees down there. They have to move in the following phase.
Okay.
Because this happens in your combat phase. So a little bit of planning ahead, a little bit of making sure you've planted your seeds correctly. And then the thing that I think would actually help your Plague Bearer spam idea is it would bring them up to the level of flies, almost. Not really, actually, because they're 4-inch move. Maybe a little bit less. They would be normal move guys. Add 2 inches to the move characteristics of friendly gardeners of Nurgle, beasts of Nurgle, and plague drones while they're wholly within 6 inches. So, man, I can't read. Your beasts of Nurgle, which you want to take with Hordy, are now 10-inch move. Your plague drones are now 10-inch move, as long as they start wholly within 6. Cool.
Good job on that.
Cool. And then you can just run your plague bearers, get them up there.
Yeah.
And then the just normal passive thing is if your plague bearers, an infantry unit essentially, is wholly within 12 of a feculent gnarlmaw, you ignore the first damage point that would be allocated to it. It's pretty cool. You can throw all the plague bearers you want, and they're suddenly a little bit more survivable. They've also got some pretty nasty heroic traits.
Yep.
So
also, if I remember right, for the plague bearers, we said they're -1 to hit on an objective.
-1 to hit in general, I think. Yeah, contest an objective control. Get them on an objective. There's -1 to hit like permanently.
Yep.
And then ignoring the first damage. That's going to be really fucking annoying.
And then if you've got for your hero, for your heroic trait, you add 1 to hit rolls for this unit's combat attacks while it's wholly within 7 inches of any friendly feculent gnarlmaws. What does that sound really good on? That really sounds good on a great unclean one.
Yes.
The artifact that comes with it is set up a feculent gnarlmaw within 3 inches of this unit, more than 3 inches from all enemy units. So we've gone from 5 potential, because you can set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. You're starting 6, and then once per battle, putting up to 7 trees over the course of the game. All moving forward.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Put them on an objective. Each one of them, just slap them on an objective, or slap them 3 inches outside of an objective, and then have them move on to it in the following turns, right?
Yeah.
The spell lore is pretty awesome too. It's got a full 3 casts, or full 3 spells, and all of them go off on a 7.
That's nice.
Add 1 to the amount of mortal damage inflicted by the putrescent sap. So
love that.
There's no non-fun on that. It is worth noting that there's a once per turn army for the combat phase for that. So you can't just spam all the tree sap in one area.
That would have been too good.
Yeah.
That's true.
The other one is until the start of your next turn, friendly gardeners of Nurgle units are wholly within 12 inches of a friendly feculent gnarlmaw are not visible to units more than 9 inches away. So that works perfectly with your plague bearer spam, right? Yeah. No shooting as they slowly trudge up to the objective. Time. And then the really, really fun one, which again super helps out your plague bearer spam because of the crit mortals, is until the start of your next turn, while the target is wholly within 12 of any friendly feculent gnarlmaws, what rolls cannot be made for the enemy units in combat with the target. So you pick a friendly unit for that one. Sorry, I should have said that.
Read that rule again, man.
Okay.
I'm getting it.
Made sense to me because I'm crazy. Yeah. Pick a friendly gardeners of Nurgle wizard to cast the spell. Pick a visible friendly gardeners of Nurgle unit, wholly within 12 inches of them to be the target. Then make the casting roll. Until the start of your next turn, while the target is wholly within 12 inches of any friendly feculent armies, ward rolls cannot be made for enemy units in combat with the target.
Very nice. Very nice.
So that you stick them in with a poxbringer, give them a bunch of the random stuff, right? And all of a sudden you've got, what is it, three attacking guys hoping for crit mortals, no saves from those. You've got flies that are suddenly moving out to capture objectives a little bit quicker because they started right next to a tree. You've got a great unclean one that hits much more accurately and will not die. Yeah, I love the idea of that. I don't know if it necessarily fits the plague bears all the way as how you wanted to do it, because you want to drop them off them on the side. But it's
close though to the idea.
It's a pretty fun way of doing it. Like one of the few armies of renown that I've actually enjoyed. The trees themselves are going to be easy to kill, but like, are you really going to waste your time going to kill a tree?
Yeah,
outside of using it as an opportunistic charge, right? Because they're still good in combat for what they are. Like, you can't just kind of willy-nilly throw a light cav unit at it and expect them to live. So there's a lot of really interesting, I think, potential in that, especially.
Okay.
There are demon. It
is those
demon
trees
only.
have a movement characteristic, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 inches. Any movement phase, so you can actually move it in your opponent's turn. So if you set it down on your turn, right?
Yeah.
You move it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on when you set it down in deployment, you can move that one, and then on your opponent's turn, you can move it again.
That's fair. I took a peek and tried to figure out I don't have all the fun stuff, like most basic demon army we could make, and I came up with one for us.
What you got? Okay. What you got?
All right, it's real boring. Plague Bear Legion, but like it's like you just have a pile of demons, nothing else. You literally start off doing the Taliban, right? So you're gonna disease bomb something and start it off, and probably their whole army is going to be disease if you never get to it. So important to start off the engine there.
Yeah,
and then it's literally a 2-drop. It's a great and clean one with a overpowering stench and wither stave.
Nice.
3 units of reinforced plague bearers, right? So 20 models, 40 wounds, all that good stuff.
A lot of good bodies, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Erotigus, 2 unreinforced units of plague drones, and a spoilpox scrivener to mess around.
Yep.
I mean, it's super basic. Not the best, but it would do some work.
I like it. I would say get a poxbringer in there, man, because he turns them into mulchers.
He sure does. I mean, I love that about him. But you know what's funny with it? It's like it's just the whole idea of you don't have to get to him when you use the Taliban. It's like you blow up the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are diseased. You move up Rodigus to the midfield as quickly as you can and cast a spell so they can't heal it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you run up your plague bearers as quickly as you can and try to get them on the objective. They just sit there. And you use the 2 little fly units just to harass and jump around and be annoying and get to the backfield and force them to split their attentions. He doesn't even have to do anything. You just have to get back there and distract things for a turn or two so they can't focus their energies anywhere. And if they actually do charge in on the big guy, the great and clean one who's actually doing the respawns, well, he has the wither stave to basically blunt the damage, and he has the ability to manipulate the saves and the wards. So he could very easily punish and kill anything that fights him.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean,
like that.
He's scary. He's scary, man. He's a scary guy.
Yeah.
And he's got a 6-inch move for some reason.
And all you gotta do is have 60 graded.
He rolls out. Oh, no.
I almost have this army, actually.
He Bender's. He does the one episode of Futurama where Bender is the turns human.
Yeah.
Woo! For those of you that have seen it, woo! For those of you that have not, go watch Futurama. It's one of the best shows ever made.
Great.
It's true. You're blessed and best.
I did want to do an honorable mention.
Okay.
Actually, I think 2.
2 honorable mentions seems fair. Go for it.
And then we'll be at a place that I think is good.
I think so too.
First one, I don't think he gets all of the love that he should, but also he's a hard guy to fit into schemes and plans. and that's the Rotbringer Sorcerer. He's decent. 4-inch move, 5-up save, 2 controls, 6 health. He's got a little bit more health than your other wizards, but if you plop him down with some other unit, he's going to be hard to hit, right?
Is the Coven still a thing?
Nope.
I don't think
Thank
so.
goodness. Even though I have 3
cool.
Rotbringers.
Just making sure.
You ended up like paying so much to keep them together to just show your hand about what you were going to do, I think.
Yeah.
Just for me, whenever I looked at the list, I was like, okay, somebody's bringing that. I know exactly what they're going to do.
It's very true.
But they're just a normal 3 attacks, 4s, 3s, -1 Ren, D3 damage. Kind of the wizard attacks, just a little bit more like the other guys, right? But in your hero phase, you can pick an enemy unit that was picked to be the target of a spell that was successfully cast by this unit. This phase to be the target on a 2+ subtract 1 from ward rolls. So he is a wizard 1. I think if you're playing in like a wizard heavy list, it'd be great to use him later so that you can use another, fleshy abundance. Give somebody -1 to wound rolls. And then on a 2 and up, now there's really suddenly also -1 to their ward. And that Rockbringer combo is suddenly even stronger, right? I feel like he's got a weird place because there's a lot actually vying for attention and points in this book. But he's definitely one that's snuck his way or slurped his way into a couple of my lists.
I'm going to say, go ahead, Matt. I also
No. I was going to move on to the next honorable.
Oh, can I get my interject at your honorable and make him extra honorable to me? I actually have a very soft spot in my heart for this particular war scroll because I think this might actually have some of the sneakiest potential in the book. And bear with me. Yeah, I mean...
Following your camera guy, what you got?
It's just that ability. I mean, all you got to do is hit something with a spell.
Yep.
And you subtract from the ward. And again, it's like that Technicolor dream, wandered in from Grey London. I'm going back to my Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory original old kind of style version. Yep. It's such a fantastic ability in so many other places. It just fires my imagination. And what I would just love to see done with this is for a suitably wizard heavy list. Not even like that heavy, but something where there's enough distraction that you can probably save this for your last spell.
Yeah.
You have, maybe a couple other 2 casters are trying to do stuff and you save it to the end.
Yeah, most people only bring like 2 or 3 unbinds. So.
Yeah, just do that. You make them burn it on the fleshy abundances, whatever else it might be useful you want to do with a rain. And then spell portal from nearby this guy.
There you
throw through the cloying quagmire from him. So now you have like a 20+ inch cloying quagmire, and you have an incredible assassin unit, essentially in the form of this one wizard. Because let's just, for the sake of the argument, say you have used Gutrot or you have some flies around, so you're going to be able to go fight something on this turn. Maybe it's turn 2 and you're set up for this. Sure. Here's this unit you want to fight. Well, now, if it was a ward unit, it's -1 ward. If it had any kind of save, whether it's a 3+ or better, it's now, well, I guess, you slowed it down. I was misreading the spell, but you're still putting it into place. Or you could use Crippling Despair and do the same kind of thing, so there's no commands for all defense. You've really made something vulnerable at range.
Well, anywhere. Going back to some of our earlier episodes, what are the units that you want to be having their move? Heavy cavalry. Would a heavy cavalry normally have for saves? 3 and up. So it's really good. The fact that I was actually going to go if and of course plans within plans, Jack. Plans within plans. But the other thing that he can do is be that second wave or the first wave support because of the 18-inch range with Crippling Despair, where he can just straight up turn off the commands for a unit. So now they can't all out defense.
Yep.
And then subtract 1 from the ward rolls if they have a ward roll. So now
you're so right. It's not even like you have to stretch for it. Just 18 inches, shirt off the commands. By the way, you're vulnerable, and it's good in so many situations, right? I mean, it's just think about witch elves or something which is going to rely on a 5-up ward save or 4-up ward save.
I mean, things that you're stopping the counter charge before it becomes a problem.
Well,
so there's so many good ways you can get away with turning off a command.
So many things are so many most problematic units in the game, right? Rely on the command or rely on like that ward save. Especially with the
ghosts.
Look at death. What's one of the biggest problems right now for a lot of players? Getting through ghosts with their wound density and their ward saves, right?
Yep.
You can turn that off pretty quickly and then keep them from boosting it by removing the ability to take commands.
That's a great point. You think about the difference right there.
What also causes problems? Vampires, vampire lords on zombie dragons, Vangorian lords,
and all the fan faith that goes with. I mean, yes,
they subtract from your end. Well, cool. Now they don't have a ward save, and if you're sending in flies, damage 2 and damage 3.
Yeah.
+1 to rend. +1 to rend in your companion weapons. Okay, that goes away. You aren't going to get that all the time, but now you've got weight of attack on a 4 and up save, right? Blood Knights are really going to hate this, especially if you're using that fly list. There's a wealth of potential in this guy, and that's he's got it. He's got to be supported, which means you have to have a unit of 3 by him, right? Or you hide him somehow, but then he's a liability, right? I think he's great for like being a situationally beneficial unit.
I would even say he follows up the Plague Bearers as they move up the board to sit on an objective. That 18-inch range, if he's in the midboard, he can just affect so much.
Yep. And if you aren't bringing Plague Bearers, then you've got other things you can use. The chaff. You could even use.
They're chafing.
You could start on the board with a unit of Nurglings, and they can. That's more than enough bases. That's 3. Or if you reinforce them, that's 6, and then they come back later, right? So there's a lot of potential in him as long as he hugs trees and stuff like that. He's not going to get too far out of range of that with a move of 4.
And he's not overpriced, right? He's 100 points. 100 points, the most basic wizard cost.
Yep. But
that's great.
He will have a unit tax, I think, at any overall, right? Like I wouldn't expect him to just sit there on his own, at least with my style of play. I would completely lose him turn 2.
I have a question. Can he go into a regiment where he's like a hero can bring him?
Oh, a supporting character?
Yeah, as a supporting character.
Off the top of my head, I haven't built a list where he's come in as a supporting character quite yet, but I think he can come in a couple of different supporting roles. Let me see.
A little check in right now to see what the app says. But let's see if I bring in
not in any of the lists that I have currently. Okay. So go find the table wherever it is.
Find the table. Because this would be if he isn't, this would be like a character they would like normally to shove into something like that. Maybe.
I mean, the extra 100 points and not feeling too bad about it kind of version. I definitely hear you there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he can be. I think he has to be on his own. But, that's not actually the worst thing. You're not trying to alpha strike people with Nurgle necessarily.
He's definitely somebody that, we've talked about leaving 200, 250 points of wiggle room in your list, right?
Yeah.
You can put him in with a unit of pox wretches, and suddenly that's only 200 points, right?
Yeah, so then you got a nice screen.
In my list, I could take out that unit of extra fly guys, right? The Puscoil Blight Lords. Put him in there, and then I have even more backfield that could allow, or midfield actually, for them to just go sit on an objective while everybody else is out there doing mean stuff. Yeah, he's definitely an honorable mention. But I could see him being very powerful in the right situation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, opportunities.
Yeah.
You had a second honorable mention though, Matt, to close it out. What was your second honorable mention?
So this is more for your plague bearer idea, and that's Belga. Belga is actually really interesting.
We haven't talked about her and a lot of the Abbey stuff.
So she has the 4-inch move, 5+ save, 6+ shrug. She's a wizard with 3 control and 7 health. So the 3 control is actually kind of nice, unexpected and nice. Same wizard profile that we expect, only with an extra attack. 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, run 1, D3 damage. Great, grand, wonderful. She is a priest, so that's interesting. She's also unique, not as interesting. But in the hero phase, you can pick a visible diseased enemy unit within 18 inches of this unit to be the target.
Big, right?
Make a chanting roll of D6. And the effect is you can inflict D3 mortal damage on the target. Then inflict 1 mortal damage on each other diseased enemy unit within 3 inches of the target. So what she can do is essentially working with that battalion, you like there, Jack, really start weeding it out midfield, holding the center objective kind of thing, if she's got like a good blob around her.
That's true.
Pair her up with the Ratbringer Sorcerer, and that's really interesting too. There's more to this. If the chanting roll was 9+, you can also pick a friendly Plague Bearers unit within 12 inches of the target, and for each enemy infantry model slain by this ability this turn, you return 1 slain model to that friendly unit.
It's a good shout, and you could be like, have one of those units up there fighting, and she's behind it, and all of a sudden you do 3 to 5 mortal wounds because it's D3 plus the stuff nearby. You bring back 5 plague bearers, which is crazy. It's a 2-to-1 wound ratio return.
Yeah,
and the cool thing about pairing her with a Ratbringer Sorcerer and then like a full block of plague bearers is she add ones to the casting rolls for friendly Maggot King of Nurgle wizards while they're within 3 inches of her. So
shut up.
Suddenly your Ratbringer Sorcerer. I actually didn't know that. Yeah. Your Ratbringer Sorcerer is suddenly a lot better, right? With the same move characteristics, sitting in the same blob, still throwing out the debuffs, right? And she also adds 1 to chanting rolls for Maggot King Nurgle priests while they're within 3 inches of her. So she's +1 to her chanting rolls.
Okay.
+1 to presumably the next hero, whether or not it's a Ratbringer Sorcerer, whether or not you want to go a little bit more melee heavy with the Poxbringer, who is also a wizard. She's
how many points is she?
Hilariously nice. Let's find out.
Not too many, I think, honestly.
I think she's in the 200 range.
I'd pay like 230 for this.
Let me eat crow for her. Are you ready for this? Yeah. She's 120.
I knew it was so cheap.
Fuck off.
And actually, there's a peas and carrots or peanut butter and jelly combination with this lady, which is really fun, kind of going down to the variants we were talking about before. Little swapping around a big demon list. Well, if she's sitting in there and she's hanging out by her big old friend Rodigus, not even like the guy from Jade Abbey, just old Rodigus, it's actually the best combination because you're going disease heavy, right? She wants to make the disease bomb blow up, right?
Yeah.
Rodigus wants to do the same thing, but he kind of relies a little bit on the signature spell of his, the Deluge of Nurgle, which is extremely dicey. It's an 8 to cast. And that's the one where you got to do it within 18 inches, and then you pick each friendly Maggot King of Nurgle, and then you do mortal damage on each enemy and heal 1 of your friendly targets. And then when they're within 18, they can't, heal or anything, so you can't stop the disease. So in your disease list, you really want him up there casting that spell in the midfield. Yeah. And you want her in the midfield doing the bomb. If they're within 3 inches of each other, then instead of being +1 to cast, he's +2 to cast. All of a sudden, things are feeling a lot more reliable, where you need to roll a 6, not a 7 to get it off because of that 8 up. So not guaranteed by any means. He's not techless, but way better and really on theme. It really synergizes because you could be raining on them, they can't heal, they're taking mortal damage, the disease is blowing up, and the Taliban has already pretty much infected the whole army.
Yeah.
You have the wall of like plague bearers up there.
130 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's, the only sad thing is like, how long is this model going to be around? How many iterations are we going to see? But like, for now, she is definitely, if you build a list and you have her in mind as a support piece, you really can't go wrong if you're bringing plague bearers. And then she just amplifies everybody else around her. I think
that is a wonderful tech piece right there, and
really fun.
And also, as we said at the top of the show, how everyone's already freaking out and making all their hot takes about Tzeentch and Lumineth with those realm wards out there. This is probably going to go so under the radar.
Yep.
And hot take wise, not for nothing. I mean, maybe a tease to future episodes. We do talk about those books in some detail once we dive into with it. We do guys out there.
Also buy our merch and all the other stuff too. We got all kinds of
none of this matters if you wear the shorts, just win that. But
yes.
The point I'll make is that this book, like so much Nurgle, gets overshadowed. Maybe it gets like lost in the new hotness. That almost happened last time. But it is sneaky. The stuff in this book, the tech in this book, is actually the snake in the grass for the new stuff. Because
it's really good.
Yeah, there's so much tech in those books, which this actually is an answer to.
Normally it's the other way around with the power creep. Like, no. We got something for the nerds that like reading books. Gonna really hate this stink coming off here.
Yeah. Because you know what you hate if you're a calligrapher trying to make magic runes and all that stuff, and you have 5 wounds, getting disease and just dying.
Yeah.
It also flies in your ink.
Yeah, that flies in your ink.
Yeah, flies in your ink is the worst. But like, I think, and we debated this before starting the episode of like, should we go on the new stuff? And in all honesty, we knew this book was going to be overshadowed as soon as we saw that Lumineth were coming out, because Lumineth in general have that. They got that spice, right?
It's polarizing too.
I think they're always going to be polarizing because they're elves, and elves are just that's their jam, right? They polarize.
Love a good elf.
And Tzeentch is going to do some amazing things.
Yeah.
They're going to have a lot of potential for board control, but this army specifically can stop a lot of their tricks, depending on whether or not you're putting a bunch of trees down early on, moving them around, running up the field.
So I have a question about these trees too that just is gnawing at me here. Thank you. I've been awake the whole time. So because they have a movement characteristic, do they count as units? Like our problem with the endless spells of like I can't deep strike near the thing. If I'm stuck in combat with it, I'm actually stuck there.
On my first read, that was my impression.
Huh.
And we can pull them up real quick. Yeah. Let me get this last hair on this guy because I'm a psycho person that wants to paint individual hair.
You do an individual teeth, Matt.
Yay. Now if it counts as a move character, yes. So any movement phase. For the rest of the phase. So they can set down. So that's a bummer.
There's no fixed movement characteristic. It is off of an ability. Okay.
It's only within the movement phase.
Okay.
So
that's okay.
So that being said, if somebody is doing a redeploy in the movement phase, you can stop them.
Yep.
If somebody's doing like a hero phase drop down, not going to be something you can do. But any movement phase, for the rest of the phase, this terrain feature has a move characteristic of 3 and can immediately move 3. Cannot move through or in that move within the combat ranges of enemy units, and it cannot in that move on an objective or another terrain feature. This terrain feature cannot use run, retreat, or charge. So it's worth noting they can move. If somebody is going to try and use what are they called, shadow stalkers from Daughters of Cain,
yep,
they're not going to be able to do that. So like, there's a lot of sneaky ass tech in this, and I think it'll be really interesting for those that stick with this instead of like running for the brand new book. For those of you that love playing Nurgle,
this is still new. We got to be honest with ourselves here.
Yeah, I mean,
these books are coming out hot and heavy, but this is still a new book.
And the other ones are just a little bit newer, right? For those of you that have just gotten your army and you're going, oh crap, I'm going to be immediately like shut down by all the power creep. This book specifically, I think, has all the tech you need to deal with that power creep.
Yeah.
So like, go forth and putrefy.
Go forth and putrefy.
It's still good against elite armies with all the mortal wounds you can pop off through all the disease mechanics. It stops elves and a lot of Tzeentch stuff wounds on 4s anyway. Right in the track, stops them.
Yeah, if you're a Nurgle player, I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, obviously, scary new developments, but there are 3 books, and 3 is nothing if not Nurgle's number here.
Seriously.
How do you? Well, it's 7, but
I mean, like, really though, is it? It's always the 3 lobes. It's always the trilobe.
So
it is, yeah.
The thing, its sacred number is 7, but there's another term for what the 3 is, because it's each god has like another number associated with it as well. And I can't remember what the lore is behind it, but specifically,
it's when they're worshipped as like animals by the different tribes or whatever, right?
Yes,
not actually.
It's like pre Age of Sigmar. It's like old, like
the old magic, the old magic
bullshit.
Like full on. Does it always like add to the same thing or something? Is it like a 3 and a 7, an 8 and a 2? Or
I don't know.
We're going
off the top of my head. We'll figure it out.
It's gonna be 1 a.m. here, folks. We're pulling we can, but
the main thing is, like, if you got all these beautiful models, know that all the new and updated rules for Tzeentch are going to be able to be shut down really quickly. Like, any of the Warflock rules, this will kill them. This reducing movement, 14-inch movement suddenly halved. Whoa, that's real big, right? There's a lot in this book that I think is still relevant, and they're going to be a creeper. I think once points level out in the next GHB update, we're going to see, say, a resurgence, a possible reinfection.
Should have kept up those antibiotics.
Yeah. But, that's what happens when you spend all your time writing runes.
It's going to be so much fun, like pounding the mortal wounds and doing that to people.
And specifically is another thing that hurts all of Tzeentch armies.
Yeah, that's true.
Stripping their wards, so now they don't have that 6+ shrug, and throwing mortal wounds on them.
They're both LRL and Tzeentch really love a good foot hero to get extra casts out of stuff and synergies with.
And their low wound, their low wound density for all of those models too, which specifically at a Rend 1 on their generally 4 and up saves, you're looking good. And then a lot of the 3 and up saves that are out there on the heroes, we have a lot of anti-hero stuff. So
a lot of Tzeentch saves are a 5 up t-shirt save. So your win run feels good. Then you're relying on even the birds are usually a 5 up, 5 up.
Yep. So there's a lot of really good stuff, and I think this book is now feeling even stronger in comparison.
No, I would say
some of the rumors we've seen.
So, given this guy, I think we've come to a pretty good, heavily foreshadowed, but well trodden for our garden moment to stop for this particular episode. But what will the final word be?
Well, last time it was mulch.
It should be Gnarlma.
I'll go with Gnarlma, man.
Gnarlma?
Gnarlma.
Hello
Hello, everybody. It is Rocco, your boy, coming at you once again with another Always Strikes Last promo. That's right. Ring that bell. Leave a like, a subscribe. On whatever platform you're listening to us on, be it YouTube, be it Podbean, whatever you got these days, so you can keep up to date. Don't forget, we have the Patreon, if you want to, give us a thank you for all the stuff we put out. That gets you into our member-exclusive Discord. And if you want to be an even bigger supporter, we've got a merch store.